The coalition still trails One Nation on primary votes despite installing a new leader. But Angus Taylor did deliver a small lift in the opposition's primary vote and a big boost as preferred Prime Minister. Sky News Chief Election Analyst Connell takes us through the latest numbers.
On this week's Sky News Pulse, a change in leadership has delivered a small boost to the coalition, but it still trails One Nation on the primary vote. Let's go through that first of all. So the coalition lifting 3 percentage points up to 22%, but One Nation still in second place on 24%, despite being down by 4%. Labor losing a little bit of ground. It now has a 2 in front of it at 29%, and the Greens edging a little bit higher. The theoretical two-party preferred, because the coalition is way behind on that primary, but 53-47 is how it actually comes out, and that's 2 percentage points better than the last election. As for how Labor would compare against One Nation, 56-44. So either way, Labor would win an election held today easily. What about, though, Angus Taylor and any other boosts he actually gave the Liberal Party and the coalition? Well, this was Susan Lee's final approval rating. 22% of voters thought she was doing a good job. The net satisfaction rating, -40. That is a staggering rating right there. Angus Taylor, instantly a big pickup. 11% more people saying he's doing a good job. And crucially, not as many unhappy, and that means his net satisfaction -5%. The 29% unknown, can he win them over? That's a big question. He also doesn't need to be wildly popular. Look who he's up against. Anthony Albanese does have 40% of people saying he's doing a good job, but 54% not happy. So his net rating is -14. And again, that's up from last time. So previously, it was -18. Well, the big question has been, who exactly is voting One Nation? We've broken this down a couple of ways. The first one, how people voted in 2025 and who has shifted their vote. So 12% of Labor voters have shifted to One Nation since the election. That actually previously was 15%. 29% of coalition voters have gone to One Nation, but under Susan Lee, that was 38%. So some good news for the coalition. 10% of Greens, interestingly enough, have also switched to One Nation, and high numbers from the other vote, 21% and 26%. What about the coalition voters and winning back the base? Well, here's what that looks like. So again, this is coalition voters who voted coalition in the last election in 2025. 63% now sticking with the opposition, but under Susan Lee, you can see that was only 46%. 29% are going to One Nation, 5% going to Labor. Again, under Susan Lee, that was 10%, and not much beyond that. And what about the One Nation primary and how high that could get? Because it's 24% at the moment, but have a look at this. We asked voters, would you ever seriously consider voting One Nation? And it's double that, 48%. And what about why they would do so? Potentially the main reason, they don't like the other parties, no confidence in them. One Nation's policies also pretty high at 33%. About a fifth saying Pauline Hanson's leadership is the reason. And not much. Barnaby Joyce, that big move, well, it appears to be a non-factor at 4%. Finally, asking the whole nation about the issues voters think that are driving the nation right now. Number one, and by a long way, it's still cost of living. It's well ahead of the next two of immigration and housing affordability, healthcare and economy, and debt, the next highest. As for handling that, Labor slightly ahead of the coalition on handling cost of living. One Nation is a distant third. Now, we will keep tracking this measure. It will be key to the outcome of the next election.